I think it would be like my main advice to anybody else is like, just go out. Don't go out to talk to like the biggest people in the room, but like go out to be a part of the scene. Like, I don't know, if you don't have peers around you who like reflect who you are, who are doing the same thing, and if you don't have representation of people who are like you, who have done what you're trying to do before, it's harder to kind of overcome a lack of confidence when you're like learning. Totally. The attention economy is like the most valuable economy in the world right now. Have other funnels of income because it allows you freedom with your decisions in your artist career.
Welcome to another episode of the Artist Breakthrough podcast, where we bring you some of the hottest artists and industry players out there on the scene to help you with your careers. Now, today, I am joined by one of the most exciting names coming out of the UK underground right now. London-based producer, DJ, vocalist, multi-instrumentalist. Kiimi's been turning heads with their music, both in the industry and garnering fans, lighting up dance floors with a kind of fluid blend, I'd call, of house, breaks and very forward-thinking, emotive music. So I'm really, really excited to dive into their world today and find out a bit more about the world of Kiimi. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for that intro. Oh my God.
It's really well deserved, honestly. We've been really excited by seeing your career grow and flourish and how you've really broke through in recent years. And I just want to talk today, like, dive in to the world of Kiimi, find out like how things started for you, where was the love of music, your progression, how things have just grown where you are now, kind of everything that we can fit into the time we've got, I suppose.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So all right, Let's go right at the beginning for people who maybe just be fairly new to you, people watching this that are just discovering you, been finding your music recently. Like, how would you describe Kiimi as the artist?
So I'm an electronic music producer and DJ. I love to play as a DJ. I love to play anything between like 130 and 140 in my favorite tempos. Genres kind of stress me out, but I guess if I had to name them, I'd probably say that I play somewhere between like house, techno, percussive. Love a bit of bassy wobs every now and again, a little bit of garage sprinkled in. But yeah, I like to think of myself as quite genre fluid.
See, that's really interesting in itself. I think we could sit here and talk about this for quite a long time.
Yeah.
The industry itself, and with us in education, I think in the house world particularly, there's a quite strong genre pigeonhole, isn't there?
There is, and I get it, because like for promoters and booking agents and stuff, it's easier if somebody just has one funnel and one niche, and it's also probably easier for consumers as well to if they can understand somebody straight away. But I don't know, whenever I've tried to like box myself in, I just get really claustrophobic, and I'm like, no, I want to make something else. So yeah, I try and like let myself just, I don't know, be a bit more free now.
And I think we're seeing a lot more of that now, like in modern times, with artists that are actually being a bit more creatively free, and it's actually kind of working in a scene that's evolving, you know, because you do have really specific house and techno worlds, like really strong subgenres, but especially in a more of a, I suppose, in a more sort of live artist aspect, as opposed to just that sort of DJ producer route. You're seeing it being a bit more genre fluid, I think.
Well, yeah, and I think like we forget that taste in itself is an identity and is a sound. So somebody's taste can run through a variety of different genres, and you can still hear that it kind of comes from them, or it's their selection.
Yeah, totally. I do agree. Like across your music specifically, like we've got tracks that have kind of got that summery piano house driving feel. There's more techno influences, and then there's the big one for me and the sort of emotive breaks stuff, which I love. I personally love, and we'll dive into that a bit deeper as well. Like, talk about some of the music, but I think it is very clever, like how you. It's clever, like as an artist, how you do sort of go across these genres and still feel like it's from you as well, like musically. I think that's the thing though, isn't it? That's the skill to do, I think, to really help connect with people. So it's been highlighted before, like from my own discovery of you, that you're classically trained.
Yeah.
And that's a major thing, I think, to help when writing music. But like, where did that come from? Can we dive backwards a bit? Like, was that something at school level in your past? Like,
literally basically since I was like old enough to go to school, I've been obsessed with music. I remember like it started, I don't know if this is like boring lore or not, but like I used to play recorder first.
Classic.
Everybody did.
That is the classic entry level into it. Yeah.
And you start recorder group in like year 2, so I was like 6, and they gave us the sheet music for, you know, that like that song from all the westerns. It's like, yeah. They gave us that, but it was like in A minor, and they just gave us like the notes that go do 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 do, and then there's this huge rest, and then they never went and we like played it as a group in the class. And I just got really impatient and worked out the bit in the middle and was playing it. And I got told off. They were like, it's not on the music. And I was like, yeah, but it is. It's just not written down. And yeah, from there I just like was obsessed with
getting
music.
Creative with the recorder straight away.
Straight away.
I love that. Thing is, you've got to have like that kind of that intuition, that drive. It's there or it isn't it, within the music. Like I found the minute sheet music was placed in front of me at school, I was a bit like overwhelmed by it straight away. But I think some people have a knack to just understand that and want to learn it even more and get better at it. So
yeah, 100%.
So did it move from the recorder to other instruments then at that point? Was you like...
Yeah, then piano when I was 8, and then clarinet, and then I've only played that for like a year. And then saxophone, which I got way more interested in. And that's still my main instrument, although I don't play it very often.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I got grade 8 in that within a couple of years of learning it. But yeah, I don't play it enough anymore.
That's really cool. So it's time to get it out.
I know. I also feel like, I've been having this conversation recently, I feel like saxophone house, right?
Yeah.
It became too cliche and too cringe, and now nobody's doing it. So I'm like, maybe...
That's really... Yeah, because it is, when you hear
Kenny
it,
G style.
It's got... Yeah, it's really like... It's got to be done in a certain way, isn't it, to just not feel cheesy. And there was a whole era, especially kind of like early 2000s with the funky house, and it sort of went a bit commercial.
Yeah.
And sax. I get that. Bring it back.
Yeah, maybe.
Could you get it over some breaks? I'd be really, you know, could it work?
Okay, maybe you're onto something now.
All right, I want a credit if it happens. So where was the transition for you to like electronic music? So this is obviously like school time, learning instruments, really into that, like dedicating yourself to that.
Yeah.
So where was the electronic sort of discovery?
Well, when I went to college, they had just started a music tech course. So I'm 32 now, so that was a pretty new thing at the time.
Yeah.
Everybody was on Logic Pro 8, I think.
Yeah, okay,
maybe even 7, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I just fell in love with production because it like you could do all the instruments in one place. Yeah. You know? My only experience of producing before that was like I used to have my dad's karaoke machine used to have 2 tape recorders in it.
Oh, I love
so
this.
I would like build tracks like recording onto that very badly. So yeah, it was really cool when I got transferred to the computer, and it was just a lot easier.
Which makes sense for you being someone that was into so many different type like instruments.
Yeah.
To then combine it into one place, I can understand that must have been quite fascinating. You've done sax, piano, clarinet, recorder, and you know, then to bring it all into one.
Yeah, it was sick. I loved it. We did we had to sequence Gary Newman Cars.
Oh wow!
I remember that was my first experience of production. I just fell in love with it.
I mean, epic piece of music as well, right?
Banger. But yeah, from there, like I've had various iterations as an artist. When I was younger, I used to make kind of more indie electronic stuff.
Awesome.
So yeah, I like delved into that for a bit, and then went to music uni.
So would you say you're quite diverse then as an artist, like the journey you've been on musically, like of discovery and stuff as well? I've done everything.
Also just in life, like, because I did that and then went to music uni, went to Westminster, studied commercial music. And I did like a lot of performance whilst I was there. Like I played at Somerset House Summer Series, won a competition, and like supported KEB there, which was really cool.
Oh, amazing.
But then my boyfriend at the time broke up with me, and I was like, I'm never playing music ever again. And I left my guitar on a train and everything, and I was like, that's it. So I went into music business.
Wow.
Interned in PR for a bit. Then I got a job at Believe Distribution for a few years after I graduated, and then I quit that to pursue music again. And whilst doing that, I was a lifeguard. I was an extra in movies. Like,
okay,
I've done many things.
Amazing. No, but the thing is, this is often the case. Like when we really dive into artists, like the journey, you know, I think most people suddenly realise and go, wow, because a lot of people that discover an artist discover them like sometimes as they're breaking through, some in different parts of their journey, and they don't often know and find out that all that stuff before.
I know, and I often feel like, obviously, never regret anything because, like,
totally,
you know, everything gets you to where you are now. But if I could have just continued at a younger age, I obviously would have. But at the same time, I wouldn't have become the person I am now without exploring all these different facets
foresight,
of life,
and I think
you know?
a lot of people think that. Generally, most artists that I talk to have there's been a really interesting story. It's not very often that it's just, oh yeah, you know, I got a computer, learned whatever it was, Logic, Ableton, and then a few years later, there's a really interesting story back before that. And that is, I mean, showing working in the industry as well is a really interesting one. Because do you think that helped shape you in a way as well and give you experience and stuff, even linked to where you're going as an artist?
Well, 100%. It gave me, like, balls. I have to say, like...
No, I get it. Confidence.
Yeah,
like,
because I started interning there in my final year of uni at Believe. And it was like a full-time internship. And I managed to do that whilst completing uni. Like, I don't know how the hell I had the energy for that. And then got a full-time job as soon as I graduated, the day I graduated. Worked at their in-house label, which doesn't exist now. And then became a digital marketing manager, managing a team of 4 at 21, which is silly.
That's quite intense.
So I didn't know anything.
That's quite intense.
I did the digital marketing for Lizzo's second album.
Wow.
Which is like crazy, but I'm just like, I was just someone making it up.
Yeah, but you must have been offering something in terms of like
obviously
your skill,
I was,
or the confidence. But you know, let's be honest, some of it a lot of the industry can be just, sometimes things just fall into place. Like
they do.
Where you end up doing stuff and opportunities and that's really cool though that you were doing that before.
Yeah, it was great. Like, I look back at those times very fondly.
Yeah.
It gave me a lot of experience in how to talk to people, and I don't know what people in the industry are looking for, and also like the different job roles in the industry that you don't think about when you're a kid. Like, you might kind of think about, oh, I want to be an artist or a music producer or maybe like work at a label, but you don't realise, like, I don't know, distribution, for example.
Totally.
Is a whole...
you just don't understand the behind the scenes cogs as a kid. I think that even now, I mean, education's become much more available, like within the music industry, which is amazing, you know. But I think even now, we're still talking about this at the academy. At that younger level, you still don't know at all. I mean, for me, it was going back a long time, and I remember trying to explain to the school of what I was into and had these decks and stuff, and they were just like, well, do you play an instrument? I was like, no, but I'm obsessed with the house music, DJing, producing, and I think all they could suggest to me was like, have you ever thought about being a graphic designer? Like, hang on, that's totally different. But it's moved on a bit now. But it's really interesting. I just want to touch on what you said as well, like some of the other jobs, the film extra, being an extra in films. Where did that come from?
I was just like looking for stuff to do to make money. And yeah, I just like signed up to a few. There's like online casting companies that you can sign up to, and I did it for a very short period because like it's not very consistent work. But I was in Tomb Raider.
No way.
and Phantom Thread, and a bunch of like random corporate stuff. But,
that's wicked. Yeah. That's so cool. And a lifeguard.
And a lifeguard at Virgin Active.
See, this should have been in the intro. DJ, producer, vocalist, lifeguard.
But the pools were like adults only. So the most I ever had to do was I did like one fire alarm like drill, and then also I put a plaster on someone's foot.
That's big.
I know, kind of gross, but like I never had to like use my first aid skills at all.
Amazing. Well, look, it's the hustle, isn't it? You do what you can to sort of pay for things as you're going for education, trying to work. It's amazing. So when you were kind of like doing that job at Believe, and you're obviously, you know, producing a lot, you know, in your own time, were you trying to get out there and build yourself as a DJ and stuff at the same time?
No. So DJing's come to me quite late. I didn't like I did a couple like bits of experience here and there, but I didn't really fall into it until lockdown. I wasn't really into, like, I did like electronic music, but it wasn't really like my favorite thing before. I was a lot more into like R&B, indie music, and then lockdown hit, and I don't know, like many other people, I was just in my room. I had loads of time to discover new things, and I just got really obsessed with Bicep and DJez, and me and my housemates were having like house parties every weekend, just the four of us.
Just the four of you, of course.
Obviously. And I would bring I had like a little mixer, like a Serato mixer, and I'd come down and like do my DJez set.
Love that.
Which is just, obviously just old school garage.
Legend to be inspired by, like EZ still, now absolutely rocking it.
Obsessed. But yeah, like that's where it started, and then I started making electronic music whilst in lockdown, and everything kind of went from there.
Do you feel that's when things started to like click for you?
Yeah.
Like creatively, like as an artist, like, oh my God, this sort of makes sense now, like musically.
Yeah, because like, I don't know, electronic music, you can be so free in your musicality and in like the texture of the sounds that you use. And I don't know, it feels a lot more like composition sometimes than when I was trying to make like R&B music or pop music before, which can feel quite like everything has to be vocal led and everything has to have a certain structure. Whereas like dance music, you can be a lot more free and vibe led. I'm friends with Tisha and have been for a while, just from like being in London. And I used to send like demos to her manager, Adam, and I would send like all these like pop demos before, and he'd always be like, I don't know why you're sending me these, Kim. Like, it's not my vibe. And I'm like, fair enough. But then one time, like in lockdown, after I'd started making more electronic stuff, I sent him a few things, and he was like, okay, hold on.
Okay, hang on, we've got something.
And then he signed me to 285 management, and I started releasing through Hot Flush. So that's how things started.
What an amazing start for the electronic side as well, to release on Hot Flush.
It's quite an intense, straight in there start.
But that's obviously the music stood up to that. And also connections. So through connections as well, of actually knowing someone and being able to pass music on to people. I think that's a massive part of it, isn't it? Has that been a big thing for you that's helped your growth? Like with music, do you think it's been connecting and a bit of working in the industry and those sorts 100%. Of things?
100%. But like, it's never been, I've never connected with anyone on purpose with the idea that knowing them would get me further. It's just, I've existed in London, and I think naturally you meet like friends of friends, or you go out to places like da-da-da-da-da. And then those people that I've met have become vital in my journey, naturally.
But then that's huge though, isn't it? Because you're do you think that's what you owe a lot of it to, is just being in London, being around it, without even realising it? Because to you, that's natural, right? You're living there, you're going out, you're living the scene, of what you love. But that's actually what's connecting the dots as things start to progress.
With being in London.
Yeah,
100%.
And it's not just being in London obviously works for everyone. We're not saying to everyone you've got to all just live in London.
No. But it does make a difference. And I grew up in Somerset, so...
Oh, okay. So that's where you're originally from? Yeah,
Taunton.
Oh, right, okay.
A little village outside Taunton. Yeah. But I always knew, like, living there, I was like, I need to be in a city. As much as I love it down there, there's not a lot happening. Like, we had one live music venue, one club, and it all played, like, champagne showers. And there wasn't a lot of variation.
So did you move to London on your own? Did you
just to come to uni at 18, and then I've been here ever since. So getting on for 15 years now, which is
this is home. It's home, right, for you?
It's like nearly half my life. It's so weird.
It's mad to think of that. So have you got family still in Somerset? Do you go back?
My parents are still there in the same house.
Oh wow, that's nice.
I actually just got back from there yesterday.
That's nice. So you can go and escape and use that as a bit of a like chill sort of space and stuff.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's important, isn't it? So that's a big part for you, is actually being around it. Because I think it's sometimes when we talk to new artists, people that come to the academy that we work with, that's one thing I think some of them struggle with, some don't even realise that they're struggling with that, you know. They can be quite isolated, just working on music, almost just you're in your room, working on the music, sending it out.
Especially when in dance music, you're an artist and also the producers. You don't need anyone else to complete your music. So you do just sit there and work on it on your own. Yeah. It can be a very isolated thing.
It can be, can't it?
Yeah.
And I suppose, so for you, like going back to lockdown and that period of real discovery, making some connections, it kind of worked for you in a sense, in terms of like lockdown actually being like isolated to focus, to try and utilise some connections.
100%. I mean, lockdown for me, I know it was obviously a tough time for many. I was in a very privileged position in that I lived in a house share with people I really got on with. I had a creative outlet that allowed me to fill my time. The weather was really good.
And I lived in Nunhead.
Yeah, and it was just like really, for me, it was a really wonderful time that kind of allowed me to wipe the slate clean and like look at myself and my life and what do I want to focus on, what am I enjoying? Yeah. And my life changed completely during lockdown for the better. Yeah. With this new focus of dance music. I also like discovered my queerness a bit more during lockdown. And so
you had a lot of like self-reflection in that time.
There's a lot going on,
like personally with the music, but you know, that's you can look back at that and actually think of that as quite a. Do you think of that as quite a fond time of how you really sort of discovered yourself a little bit?
The best time ever, but I hate saying that.
That's fine. I know
COVID was like terrible.
That's your personal experience of having that and actually finding yourself in so many different ways. That's quite an amazing thing in itself, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you think that release then, that first release on Hot Flush, was that something that really like kick-started things for you in this world where you are now, in terms of like that movement in electronic music? Did you find it opened other opportunities, other connections?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I was very fortunate to have such a well-connected and experienced and respected team around me at the time. Obviously, I had management with 285, and then Paul at Hot Flush. Scuba was like I wasn't just releasing the music through them, but he was very involved in my project at the start as well. And I also very quickly signed to WME for bookings. Yeah. So I had this whole infrastructure really early, which was, pivotal for me.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you say early, but it feels like there was a sort of progression to get there, though, prior to that.
Yeah, I mean, I have to remind myself of that, because I think at the time I felt so fresh-faced to dance music, and like the imposter syndrome was very real in many ways. But I have also been, like at that point, I'd also been in the industry to an extent for like 10 years.
And making friends that actually become connections, but like you said, without intent. Yeah. It's kind of natural. Just on that, did you really feel that imposter syndrome thing?
I mean, I still do.
Do you?
I feel it sitting here. I'm like, what do they want to interview me for?
It's so, I mean, it's such a humble thing. You know, at the end of the day, you're here because you've got a talent, and because what you're doing is reaching people and touching them in a good way, you know? But it's an interesting thing. I think so many creative people can feel like that.
Yeah, I think it is. It's kind of decreasing for me a little bit now, just because I've been releasing music under Kiimi for like 5 years. Yeah. And I'm feeling a lot more confident, feeling a lot more rooted in the scene and stuff, and more confident with like the fact that what I have to say is like worthy of being said. Yeah. But it still exists. You still get nervous for stuff and compare yourself, you know?
Yeah, totally. So some of those opportunities that came around in that early time, like did that feel kind of a bit surreal, a bit of a shock? Like starting to get radio show guest spots and different people from the industry contacting you, you know, like wanting to know more, wanting to support you.
Yeah, I mean, it was everything I dreamed for, but completely in a different way to how I dreamed it, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It does make sense. I think, do you think you have a certain idea of how it's going to be, a certain vision, then when it starts to come together, it actually feels different? Yeah,
when I was younger, I wanted to be like either Hayley Williams or Christina Aguilera. Obviously, I don't quite have the vocal cords for that, but that's what I thought being an artist was being a singer. I mean, especially being like growing up a woman, your only examples of artists like as a woman are mainly like singers, front women. The more kind of superficial side of artistry. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
No, I get that.
when it started to radiate in dance music, I was like, oh, this is cool. And I get to do the thing I'm more passionate about, which is the techie stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very surreal.
And do you remember like the sort of a certain first pivotal moment, like getting to go on Rinse FM or the Radio 1 stuff in recent times as well? Do you remember some of those and thinking, oh my God, this is like, things are starting to really connect?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there was one specific moment as such, but many stacked on top of each other.
Because you do get great industry support, like
I know
Jaguar's been a massive supporter of your music.
Oh, but she's just a really good friend as well. This is another thing, like.
But the thing is, like, don't play it down, because like you say, she's just a really good friend, but she wouldn't be playing or supporting your music if she didn't believe in it and be that excited about it. She's so passionate about music that she loves, and she's mega excited about your music.
She's wonderful. She's like. I honestly think there's so many careers in dance music now that wouldn't exist without her. She's so supportive and consistently supportive as well. Like, she doesn't just give your track like one play, like she'll play it a lot and like watch your growth and support your growth.
She really roots for new artists.
She does.
You know, that's what she's about, hunting new music, new artists and supporting them.
And she's so talented herself as well. Now she's releasing her own music and I have a lot of love for.
So did that friendship come through being in London, going out, being introduced?
Yeah, I think it would have come from I would have got like a radio play or something, and then we'd have been talking through that. And then I started Honey Sound, my community for...
I want to talk about that.
Okay,
so, let's talk
it's
about
coming.
That.
For FLINTA producers in electronic music. And I did a series of workshops at Dalston Superstore in 2023 and asked her to be a part of it. And we did a focused one with Jags, and... we were friends before that. I'm trying to remember like how we met, but I remember we had a night out after that.
Yeah. And you just hit it off.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's so awesome. Well, let's you know what? You've gone there, so let's talk about it. Okay. Let's talk about Club Hunni and how that's evolved as a concept, like, because you know, you're really passionate about this, and it's really interesting that you're talking about like workshops and trying to give people, you know, that opportunity. Like, explain to us, like, how did that come around? Was that something that's always been on your mind, like as you've been growing as an artist?
I originally started Honey Sound like prior to lockdown, when I realized I wanted to start focusing more on production, and I wasn't even doing dance music yet. But I was going to like networking events and just realizing how few women were producers. And like putting that at the forefront of what they were doing. And I had a lot of like producer friends around me, but they were all men, and that's fine. They're all amazing. But like there were experiences that I'd had like in the studio that they couldn't relate to. And also like, I think there's a certain level of, like, I don't know, if you don't have peers around you who like reflect who you are, who are doing the same thing, and if you don't have representation of people who are like you, who have done what you're trying to do before, it's harder to kind of overcome a lack of confidence when you're like learning. Totally. So I felt quite alone. So I had this idea of starting like a little network of people back then, but it kind of like, I did a WhatsApp group and then it fizzled out, and then I did something else. I think I did a Facebook group, lol. And then that fizzled out. And then, I started it again properly at the end of 2022. We did a social at Dalston Superstore, and then a string of workshops with Jags, Jess is at. Did one on radio production, and then I did one on music composition, and Julia Tess did one on music production on Ableton.
Amazing.
And I think it's just like, I mean, it's also very topical at the moment as well, but
which it needs to be.
It does need to be.
I think the fact that this has become so much more prevalent as a talking point in the industry in recent years, it's overdue. It's been overdue for a long time in terms of just general diversity. You know, it's been, and I think the fact that you've really felt that and then said, right, I'm going to try and do something. I need to actually do something that can make a difference. And I think it needs more people doing this, you know.
Well, this is it. Like, because I was doing it before, and then kind of went dormant with it for a couple of years because I just needed to focus on myself, and like I was putting my own money into it, and you know,
it's hard, isn't it? Well, it's hard to be effectively like a promoter in a sense, as well as everything else you're doing.
Yeah, because you want to come at it from like a full sense of energy. You want to be able to put yourself in there, and if you can't, like, I don't know, it feels a bit weird.
It can be a battle of your own actual artistry and creativity, as well as like full-time supporting others. It's a difficult balance, that, isn't it?
It is, but yeah, like I wasn't doing anything with it, and then I just got so mad last year with how I've seen things shift back towards, or back away from diversity. And I thought, oh, screw it, I'll just start it up again.
I respect that.
Yeah,
I really do.
We relaunched with a Club Hunni event at Planet Wax in New Cross in November last year. And yeah, we've got a workshop coming in April.
That's
and
awesome.
a series of shows in May, which I'm yet to announce properly, but very excited about
exclusive for us there.
Yeah, I think
that's really cool. So you're planning to kind of push it out there a bit more and almost tour it a little bit, and just try and do events and things where people can feel included and just a bit safe to come and experience. Yeah,
included, represented, give opportunities for platforming FLINTA artists. So the club nights will always be a full FLINTA queer lineup, just to provide spaces for that specifically. And the workshops will be for and by those people as well. And I don't know, like I was kind of worried about starting it back up because it kind of feels like there's quite a lot of initiatives that are doing this at the moment, but I think everybody should be doing it.
Yeah,
like
I think the more people like yourself that really like do this, it's going to create more of a swell and more of a momentum. Because I actually agree with what you said. You know? Like it's been really prevalent in the industry, and then it did feel a bit like everyone's talking about it, trying to make an effort, and then it's sort of just
dwindled.
It dwindles. I think it's momentum. Do you think it needs to be tackled? That there's other ways to tackle it, like even earlier on in education and things, because
all of it.
It's really interesting. Like Ariel Free mentioned this on a post recently, and said when she came back from being away and went through tons and tons of demos, and just so few of them were from just even females, you know, and it was just majority male demos, the most of them, and it was like, well, so it's not even necessary. She was thinking, well, is it just that area where they're not getting supported, or there's actually not as many coming through that want to come through, and is that even going back to the confidence at a younger level, to the awareness?
I mean, it's all of it. Like we could talk about it literally all day. Like you've got the one area of like music production in general is so male dominated, and if we're talking about dance music, which is all basically music production, it's going to bleed into that. We've got the like lack of representation thing where, you know, we've not got a very diverse like amount of people being booked. So younger people aren't seeing themselves in those environments and not envisioning that they could be there one day, you know.
So it's almost either end there. You're talking, you know, high level bookings of what actually people that are aspiring that are looking to. As, you know, so it's
all an ecosystem that feeds into itself. You know, there's been ways in which it's improved, there's been ways in which it's gone backwards. I think at the moment the main way that it's gone backwards is the lineup thing. I don't know what's happened over the last year, but like there's just been a lack of awareness and consciousness with who people are booking. It's not to say the people that are being booked aren't good, because they are, but you know, it's just
I respect you for not only just talking openly about it, but actually doing something. With is it Club Hunni now?
I changed the name.
Okay. Because I was a bit worried. I was like, hang on, did I say that right, or was it the other way around?
No,
so it's Hunni Sounds before, was it?
It was, yes. It was my mistake.
No. I was just trying to work out. So it's kind of rebranded where you're bringing it back to life, and awesome. No, I really respect that. So before we continue, if you're watching this podcast, you're probably a dance music producer trying to break through. And that's exactly why we created the Toolroom Academy Production Certificate course. It's an online program that certainly changed the game in house music education. Over 3 months, we write a track together to a professional level. You receive professional A&R feedback and technical feedback along the way every single week. And you'll join a really supportive, genuine community of like-minded producers producers as well. Our students have gone on to get signed to labels like Toolroom, Armada, Spinning, Nervous, Solid Grooves. They've started DJing in boiler rooms and touring internationally. If that sounds like the next step for you, check out toolroomacademy.com for more info. So let's talk a bit more about your sounds. We touched about it at the start, like how quite fluid you are with the genres, and you've developed from, I mean, it's really interesting. You were talking about R&B and kind of, did you were saying like indie music and stuff as well? Or?
Yeah, 2010's indie disco remains one of my favourite genres of all time.
Wicked, yeah. Yeah, no, I can get behind that. I can get behind that as well. Do you think, like, is it your musical discovery that shaped that? Or do you ever get influenced by things like trends and shifts and changes in music? Does that catch your eye and influence what you do as well, creatively?
I mean, naturally, yeah, because you'll be exposed to it more when it's like happening around you. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like maybe my environment shift, like when I moved to London, that definitely gave me a lot more influences and stuff. But
because some people don't consciously think about it and actually go, oh yeah, you know, I don't necessarily try and go, oh my God, I've heard that. I'm loving it, and I want to then try and
it's my biggest downfall is that exact thing.
Yeah,
I'll be like, I love this song, I want to make it, and then it's like completely out from what you're normally making.
Yeah, I think that's surely got to be the majority of creative people, though.
Yeah,
I think we're like magpies a bit, and it's like
ADHD,
something new and shiny. Yeah, 100%. And you're literally just like,
that.
Yeah, it's quite funny. It's one of the main things we talk about at the Academy, especially in quite a sort of house-driven world. We're like, look, whilst you're trying to learn, we're trying to sort of explain to them on two sides. We want you to be creatively open, and it's going to take time to find yourself as an artist. And you might not understand this right now when we talk to you, because you're just like, yeah, but I just want to make this or this. And we're like, over time, things will click.
Yeah.
And there's no perfect way. But what we're often saying whilst learning is like, try not to be too diverse whilst you at least learn. And you might even say you just learn and you're making deep house 3, 4, 5 years, you might move away from that. That's okay. But it's quite interesting. We're teaching that, and then I'm sitting there going home that evening and doing some euphoric breaks, and the next day I'm playing around with a trance riff, or the next day. It's so hard, isn't it? Do you think it's creative to kind of stay on track a bit?
Yeah, but I think it's also part of the process. I think you have to allow yourself that creative freedom, like to kind of figure out what you want to take from each extreme. You know, you might find that doing the trance track, whatever, you like that synth you use, so you'll use that in another track, even if that's tech house or whatever.
But do you think it's important to give you some sort of boundaries musically of what you're actually releasing? Like, do you experiment a lot and write a lot of music that doesn't see the light of day?
Yes, so much. I've made so much bad, embarrassing music all the time.
You say that. I think so many artists say, yeah, it's bad, it's embarrassing, and then someone else might listen to it and go, that's pretty cool. That's a cool idea.
But you know what? I don't finish tracks unless I think they're good. So I've got loads of bad, embarrassing beats, like project files. Yeah. But the ones that get finished, I feel like.
And do you think that's like, as an artist, does that come more with confidence? That as you're writing something, you can almost go, this isn't good enough as an idea? Or do you just like many artists out there, are you just kind of loads of unfinished projects and you're a bit like...
Yeah, kind of that. But I feel like when you're making something, I try and I'll make a loop, and then you kind of just add like a drum loop, and then you make as many layers to that drum loop as you can, just like layer. Do you
generally start with drums? Is that your sort of go-to?
Because I like the drums the best.
Okay,
because I always wanted to learn drums as a kid, and then I never did. So I don't know, the music stuff comes the melody stuff comes quite easy, but the drums, I don't know.
See, that's really interesting. See, I might have guessed and thought where you're classically trained, you know, where you're a musician, you might actually start with a melody, a bit of a riff, and then build around that. But that's just, you know, there is no right or wrong way, is there? But it's quite cool to hear that, you know, I think a lot of people in the dance world, in the house world, sort of... The drums are almost like the drive, aren't they?
Yeah.
The sort of heartbeat, I suppose, of it.
Oh yeah, and also you need to pick the BPM for the genre, and then once you've done that, you're like, I don't know, you might as well just make the drums.
Do you have a bit of a plan? Like when you sort of go, I'm going to jam today in the studio.
Yeah.
Does it start by going, I'm focused in that break space, or I'm going to do something a bit more fast-paced techno feeling? Yeah.
I don't think I used to have so much of a plan, but now it's more like, oh, I've heard a bunch of songs that I like. I want to make something that would fit in that world.
Yep.
And so I'll make something that BPM and that kind of rhythm or whatever, and then go from there.
So do you think about the end result? Like, this track could be played there, or you might even think strategically or speak with management about certain labels or artists you want to work with. Do you tend to think like that at the early stages in the creative phase as well?
I never used to, but yes, now I do. I think just from having more experience playing out and knowing which types of venues I want to play again, I'm like, okay, I'll make something for that environment.
Do you think that's something that's important for artists that are in that sort of bedroom phase? To actually think more like that, a bit more focused of like the vision of where the music's going to end up?
Yeah. I do think if you're going to do that though, like, go to that space first.
Yeah.
Make it somewhere that you've been, so that you're coming from an educated guess.
Yeah.
I also find that it helps, like, something that I do when I'm making tracks, if I'm, trying to finish something or like figure out the arrangement or like where it needs to fall off or grow. I'll watch other people's filmed DJ sets on YouTube of places where I imagine it being played and put it on mute, and then I'll listen to my track over it, and I'll be like,
love that.
I'll be like, yeah, that hits. Or I'll be like, no.
Yeah, so you're combining the visual experience of it to actually see if it all feels like it aligns.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. I like that. That's similar to like early stages of production, when before you had other ways of auditioning and stuff, and I'd play grooves and then just be playing samples like on YouTube or or Splice or something, to just go, how does that feel over that? It's a similar sort of mindset, isn't it?
Yeah.
Looking at that end result, that's wicked. And do you think that's mega important? Going back to, obviously, I don't know, when we spoke about it, it felt like you didn't necessarily even think how much that's had an impact, but actually just being in London obviously has, but going out and being part of it and living it and feeling it, like in the clubs. Do you think that's really important for artists, producers?
I almost think
it's
more important than making the music, in a way, because I think we are so lucky, and I feel so grateful to be part of a scene or a part of the industry where community is so important. Like, there's no other music genre that exhibits that same kind of like unity like dance music does. And obviously there's its downfalls and like weird things happen in dance music still, but I don't know, like, being a part of it is so valuable. Particularly like in the queer scene, clubbing feels so historic there. And you go to certain parties, like my favourite events is Adonis, New Year's Day. I was there this year and like just had the time of my life.
Totally.
Just kind of looking out at everyone, and like you see this queer euphoria that feels like it's probably unchanged from when clubbing began.
Totally. Because that's what it was really when house music first started. It was a movement within the queer community to feel together, safe, to have that sort of space, really.
Exactly. It's a rebellion to society and feeling oppressed and ridiculed by society. It was a place of sanctuary.
And I think that feeling is within dance music in general.
Yes, it is.
Even without focusing just on that historical part of queerness, the whole point, isn't it? It's like you said, feeling unity. Also feeling safe, included.
Exactly, and like the nature as well of DJing. If you think about it, like, we're all playing each other's tracks, so there's an inherent level of support that goes into dance music. Like, you've got friends that are making music, you're going to support them, you're going to play their tracks. You can connect with people by playing their tracks across the world, It's like this mutual support of artistry that doesn't happen in any other genre, because like, if you imagine like pop music, I mean, you might play covers every now and again, but like, you're just promoting yourself and your own music, right?
Totally.
That it doesn't have that same
totally. I think it's
thing.
For me, you can go so deep on this conversation about like dance music, house music in general, because it's such a special feeling. And I think we can tap into this even more, though, to think about like that piece of advice is saying to people, you've got to go out. You've got to go out and get amongst it, don't you, to really feel it. Because I know it sounds cliche, right? But it is, isn't it? Like, house music is a feeling. like all forms.
It is.
But it's a feeling, and I think when you fully experience that in the club and understand that, that's probably when you have a better, I don't know what the word is, it's like that creative alignment.
Yeah.
It's fully understanding it.
Well, because it has a purpose then, doesn't it? You're not just making music, you're like making music to give back to a world that ultimately makes you feel welcome and makes you feel good, and your friends as well, you know. I feel like it's a magical scene, really, without sounding too lame.
No,
like.
totally. And I think, but what you can take away from that is actually like that bigger word, community, that you're talking about. That's something if we actually think about it and understand how important that is for growth as an artist, for inclusion, for being part of, for contributing towards, it's actually, do you think that's probably one of the biggest things that really helps like artist growth, let alone the scene and everything else that comes from it? But
I mean, also just like not just necessarily community in music, but community in your life. Like I wouldn't be anywhere without my friends, and they provide community for me in so many ways, like inspiring me in what they're doing, whatever that is, whether that's music or their own ventures, supporting me when I need it, and vice versa. Like, it's completely invaluable. And I think being an artist is such a vulnerable career path. Like, you're constantly putting yourself on the line, and it's very easy to take things personally, whether they're wins or losses. And so having an infrastructure of support around you is so important on that journey.
100%. I think that's such a valid point. It really is. I think as advice to new artists, people that are doing this and trying to go for it, it is, would you say that is the message? Like, don't try and do it alone. You know, try and get out there and become part of something, let alone where we started this bit here. We've gone quite deep, but really it was like testing out music in a club, feeling it in a club and so on, you know? But it is, isn't it? I think it's one of the biggest parts of it is trying to become part of that community, getting out there. Yeah. And going back to that, it is to really understand how music works, right? Because let's talk about the DJing side of it as well. Because it was really interesting earlier, you said, you know, originally that wasn't the start. And it's different for everyone, how that's come. But did you find then, was there like a want to DJ, or was there actually like, this is something that actually needs to be part of me as an artist, as my performance, to actually share my music?
I think when you make electronic music, DJing inherently kind of has to be a part of it, because it gives you a place to like play what you're doing. Also in a business sense, it can be really lucrative, and if it can support the music that you're making, like it's a no-brainer to do it. But when I started out, I thought I was going to be DJing to support my music production, but actually now that I've had more experience in it and fallen in love with the art of DJing, it's like I'm actually making music to support the DJ career and try and get in those live spaces, you know, because that's where I have most of my joy now.
And you've had some like amazing gigs over the years as well.
Like,
I think one you spoke about, which I think would be for anyone, was like DC10. To be able to play DC10 in Ibiza is probably most DJ's dream, really, isn't it?
Just the best show of my life. I loved it. I've actually played twice.
Amazing.
Solid Grooves.
Both for Solid Grooves?
Yeah, last year and the year before. But last year, the set was just like so good. I was great. The crowd was great.
It just connected.
It just worked really well. Like I was amazed how well it went. But it will forever live in my head as like my favourite set.
Did that? Oh, brilliant! Well, love it when you can have something like that. Did that then inspire you musically to write certain music? Do you feel like some of the music that you've done since then? Yeah,
definitely. It did. It was like, because also last year I had a bit of professionally it was a bit of a weird year. Like I stopped working with a lot of my team at the start of the year, found a new team.
So that's big. That's a massive shift, isn't it?
Huge shift. And I wasn't working with a booking agent mostly all of last year, which meant that any show I got came directly to me, which made that show even more special, because I just got reached out to and ended up playing.
That's quite a thing in itself, isn't it? Because a lot of new artists are, you know, having to deal with that for quite a few years themselves, actually dealing with bookings and inquiries, and
it's hard, man.
Yeah,
you don't feel like you have so much like negotiating power. when you're the person negotiating.
You're the artist, rather than being able to say to your manager, right, can you...
Because also you do really want the gigs. You're like, you end up saying yes a lot quicker, I think.
Yeah, I can see it. I think that's the same for a lot of new artists, isn't it? Local level gigs, just saying yes to everything as well. It's just, it carries right up.
Yeah.
So you're feeling good with the team that you're working with now?
Yeah, wonderful. Like Josie's great, my new manager, and then also working with a new booking agent at Rome Artists, which is great. That's a new relationship. But yeah, feeling excited.
That's
going
wicked.
Into
how did the Solid Grooves booking come about? Like, was there a particular thing that sort of led to that and getting that show?
I think just because I'd played the year before.
So how did the first one come about then? Can you remember?
I guess through WME.
Okay.
Or so maybe through my old
So who was actually representing you at the time?
Yeah.
Managed to sort
of... but then I basically, like, every time I have a gig, like, I'll just hang out after and hang about in the green room and like have a great time. So I had that gig, and then I also played Coco, and the person that books Solid Grooves also books Coco. And I met him there.
So that's networking's played a massive part in some of these things then, really, isn't it?
But like, I would be hesitant to call it networking because I'm never ever going into an interaction thinking I've got an
consciously
agenda.
Thinking, what can I get from this interaction? I
just love being out. I'm such a green room lurker. Like, I just love being out chatting to people who do what I do.
I think if you look at it from a step back, that's obviously been really good for your career. You know, being out and being part of it. And so I think people that might maybe naturally feel like that, it's like maybe try to push yourself a bit more. Get out of that comfort zone. But obviously, you know, everyone can be different. Some people can be quite more introverted in terms of that sort of being out in a social scene. But it's definitely helped you, hasn't it? Like being out and about.
Yeah, I think it would be like my main advice to anybody else is like, just go out. Go out, hang around. Like, don't be annoying, but like hang around and chat to people.
Everyone always says that. There's a point. Just don't become annoying. Don't become like stalker level.
If you can read social cues, like, I think you know when like it's appropriate to be around or not.
Totally.
Also, like, on that front, like, don't go out to talk to like the biggest people in the room, but like go out to be a part of the scene. Do you know what I mean?
I think that's really, honestly, I think that's really solid actual advice for people to think about. It is, because from the same level of things we talk about, you know, we're like, people often come into the house world and just instantly obsessed with like some of the biggest labels, the biggest DJs to play their music straight away. And I think it's actually thinking about, well, what can you become a part of now as well, if you are consciously thinking about it. You know, I love the fact that you're like, well, kind of not consciously, but you just seem to float, or not float into it, but just segue into these opportunities. It's brilliant. It's being part of it. So before we continue, if you're watching this podcast, you're probably a dance music producer trying to break through. And that's exactly why we created the Toolroom Academy Production Certificate course. It's an online program that certainly changed the game in house music education. Over 3 months, we write a track together to a professional level. You receive professional A&R feedback and technical feedback along the way every single week. And you'll join a really supportive, genuine community of like-minded producers as well. Our students have gone on to get signed to labels like Toolroom, Armada, Spinning, Nervous, Solid Grooves. They've started DJing in boiler rooms and touring internationally. If that sounds like the next step for you, check out toolroomacademy.com for more info. So let's talk about bigger stages. Like, you've played some bigger stages as well, right? So you've done festivals, you know, compared to club shows.
I think the biggest, I don't know what the biggest stage is. Maybe Creamfields. Like, God, I played Creamfields in 2023, and it was my first time and only time going there. And the production is so big. I have never seen stages that big in my whole life.
Was that quite daunting, like walking onto a stage like that from doing club shows?
Yes and no. It kind of makes it more impersonal in a way. Also, like, as usual, I was playing quite early on, so it's not like the crowd was massive. But yeah, I mean, it's a different energy. Like, I feel like with festivals, I kind of always talk about festival sets as being like drop culture.
Right.
So you might only have an hour. Like the festival sets are normally shorter than you'd probably get in a club, and you'll be competing with other people to like kind of draw crowds in, because people will just be aimlessly wandering around, and there's probably bigger names playing, and so you kind of find like people are competing for like the biggest drop, the biggest crowd reactions. People are playing more bangers and like recognizable songs than they normally would. Like
you have to think about it really differently, don't you?
You do. I think there's a way of doing it that stays true to who you are and what you like.
Yeah.
But everybody there is doing that, and so you kind of have to play the game a bit as well.
Yeah, I hear you.
But it's not a bad thing. It's just different environments.
It's interesting though, isn't it? How different it is. Because we speak to other DJs and artists that talk about like warm-up sets in clubs and how that's changed over the years as well. And people are they're so sort of desperate to get that shot and have a go. It's like, I've just got to impress. I've got to play bangers. I've got to go big.
Oh, there's an art to warming up.
Yeah, massively, isn't there?
Yeah.
Have you done your fair share of that? Do you feel like you've done some warming up, or have you been lucky enough to go into more? I'm
mostly a warm-up DJ or a closer. Like, there's not been a lot of headline slots for me. The Solid Groove set was a warm-up set.
Yeah.
But I feel really, again, I'm just like picking up that the one set. But I feel proud of how I worked that, because I kept it within the warm-up realm, but
trying to be you as an artist.
Yeah, as well. But I think there's an art to it, because you can like explore different BPMs and sounds than you normally would. Being a warm-up act, like there's probably less people there, so you can be a little bit more experimental if you wanted to.
Yeah.
It's I don't know.
And do you think that's part of it? That's what you've got to do, those hard yards as an artist anyway, like doing those sorts of warm-up closing sets. That's part of the journey, right?
It is, because you learn how to capture a crowd. You know, maintaining a crowd is one thing, but it might actually be harder to bring them in initially.
Definitely.
Also just like thinking about the night, the music of the night as a whole, as opposed to just your set and curating your set. It's like, how can I fit into the narrative of the night? Like, I'll always look at who's playing before and after me and just be like, okay, even if they sound drastically different,
you've still got to find that way to segue.
Yeah,
right?
Because ultimately, like, the people are there to see them too, so you might as well kind of, I don't know, add to a general vibe.
Yeah. No, I really respect that. I think that's exactly what artists should be thinking about more. It's like, how do I fit but also be me?
Yeah.
It's not the easiest of things to balance that at all, is it? But I really respect that. Let's talk a bit about social media. It's I know, right? But it's a subject that I think just to touch on, because obviously, you know, what's the word to even say? Like, you know, you handle it well.
Oh,
like,
God, do I?
I think so, yeah. Like, especially, you know, you utilise platforms like TikTok as well.
Oh, I'm trying.
Know? Yeah.
Sorry, I got a bit of fluff in my eye.
Oh, you all right there?
Yeah, no, it's fine. If you see me just doing this, that's fine.
But I think, you know, how do you feel about using it in general? Do you feel a bit of pressure?
Yes and no. I think it's a necessary evil at the moment. Like, I grew up on artists who had the benefit of being able to be enigmatic, like, because you could be more creative and intentional with marketing back into day when artists weren't being asked to be so like authentically themselves and like show every aspect of their lives and you know, break the fourth wall between them and the fan as much. But you know, that has changed, and I think it's important that we all accept where we're at, and like the attention economy is like the most valuable economy in the world right now, and unfortunately we have to just like do our socials. But that's not a bad thing. I mean, it can just be a place to express yourself, and it can be an extension of you. I think doing it every day is kind of hard, but also kind of has to be done.
Do you think about that, doing something pretty much every day?
Yeah.
Does it become part of kind of your daily schedule?
I've become quite obsessed with it recently because I'm trying to grow on socials. I've had a wonderful career so far, but my social numbers are not where I want them to be. And so I'm just trying to like focus on it a bit more and like figure out a way of doing it that feels right for me. I had a couple TikToks that went semi-viral, which was great and very encouraging. So since then, I'm trying to like take note of it a bit more and be like, oh, okay, what worked about that? Like, can I do that again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you sounds like you're doing, you know, in quite a healthy way, like not too obsessed, not too pressured. Because I think some people just naturally feel a bit pressurized by it, don't they?
Yeah, it is quite daunting. Also, like there is just a huge decrease in engagement right now across all the platforms. So I've been putting reels out that are literally getting like 50 likes, and I'm like, great.
Does it affect you? Do you think like, oh my God, like, why did that?
I try not to let it affect me, because I know that even my more like famous friends have the same kind of issue. So it's not just me. You just kind of have to ignore it and keep going. Yeah, that's what I'm telling myself.
No, I think that's really healthy to think of it that way. Like,
yeah.
You've got to not. I think one massive thing in the industry is not taking things too personally, isn't it?
Hard to do, but
yeah,
you're right.
I think most creative people, I think that's quite difficult, isn't it? Because you can be you're putting your inner feelings on display, really, through music, through the art that you do. Yeah. And then suddenly it's like, do people like it or not?
Well, yeah, especially on socials, when you then start exposing like other parts of your personality too.
Yeah.
You know, you start showing other elements of your life, like. And then people aren't resonating with it. You're like, what?
Yeah.
I'm just being me.
Yeah.
No one likes me. Like,
it's really tough, isn't it? I think everyone feels the same. I think maybe what's going on at the moment with numbers, traction and stuff, I think personally, I think it's a really interesting time where people are stopping, pausing, reflecting, kind of unsure, and I hate saying the word, but like algorithms changing and stuff. It's kind of an interesting time because you can look at it at trends, can't you? When people just chasing certain things or posting a certain way.
But I think that's the viewpoint to take, calling it interesting and remaining curious with it.
Yeah.
Because you're right, it is interesting. Like things are shifting a lot right now because of AI, because of company acquisitions, and like it's like we all need to be online still because we're all trying to reach fans and engage with audiences and but the goalposts are moving, and it's kind of like, you know, when Spotify was first a thing and the music industry was like
yeah, totally.
We're kind of doing that.
Everyone sort of stopped, panicked, unsure, but it settled.
But it's kind of great because it means all bets are off, so you can do anything and it's not embarrassing on socials. Like, I mean, not anything.
No, you're right, but you are right, because generally someone will sort of do something, connect, and everyone sort of looks and goes, oh, that's sort of interesting. Maybe we can do it a different way.
Yeah.
Do you think the key is just, I know it's really cliche, everyone says it, but just trying to be yourself, be authentic, show parts of who you are, but maybe would you ever say, like, do you think there's a point where you should hold yourself back a bit?
Yeah. So I've been watching loads and loads of videos on it recently. Yes, 100% be yourself, but also what I've been trying to do recently, following a video that I saw, is figure out what my key pillars are, my key values, with what I want to put out there. And I can kind of do anything, but like if I'm going to put something out, look at those values and say, does it align with that, or does it reinforce that, or does it not? And if it doesn't fit, like just don't post it, because ultimately we're trying to project a brand, and whether that brand is like superficially you want to look XYZ, or whether it's like emotionally I want to evoke this, I think it is good to be conscious about it.
Yeah, I do. I think that's really, I think that's absolutely solid, like really solid advice for people to take on board to try and navigate it. I really respect that and think of it like that. I like the way you put it as your values. Yeah. Because you've got to actually think, what do I want to project as an artist? What do I believe in? Because that's what you're putting out there. Yeah. I don't like to use the term, but it's kind of like that's what you're selling. Yeah. That's what you're doing as an artist.
Yeah,
it's got to be what you actually believe in, right?
Exactly. Like how do I fit in the world, and how can I make change where I want to? And yeah.
What do you think? A couple of sort of bigger questions, even though we're running out of time already.
I see that clock there.
I know, it's mad, isn't it? So once you get chatting, you get right into it. But what do you think? Perhaps is there anything other than kind of maybe diversity and misrepresentation in the industry? Is there anything else that you think is not spoken about enough in the industry, from your experience of working in the industry as well as developing as an artist?
I would say maybe financial stability as an artist is a hard one. I mean, personally, I've struggled with it a lot. I think and on that same note, like financial transparency from artists too. Like, I have debated so many times talking about my financial position on social media and publicly and stuff. But at the same time, I don't want, if I'm not doing well financially, I don't want like promoters to know, because I still want them to give me big fees. I don't want them to be like, oh, she's poor, she'll take like this £100 fee or whatever. But at the same time, like, you want to be real, and I don't know, like, I've definitely had my ups and downs. I've had years when I've raked it in, and then like the past year, like I said, I changed my team over, and there was a gap where I didn't have any agent like pushing me for gigs and stuff, and like I've had to get like, I still currently work part-time in hospitality. I'm not ashamed of that, like I love it actually, and it's allowed me to make savings and, like, I don't know, get myself back to a point of financial security. But like, do I want to talk about that? I don't know. And
I really respect that you're highlighting it, because I think it's something that's never spoke about, is it?
Well, yeah,
at all
probably
levels.
For those reasons. Like, also because the people who are high earners, they probably don't want to be like, yeah, I just got 200k.
Yeah, totally. It's not going to publicise it. But
no.
I think for people, maybe for new artists or people who are just looking to come into the industry anywhere, having awareness of the reality of that.
Yeah, because also it is
but how
a business.
would you if it's not shared? So how does anyone actually find that out?
Yeah, because you need to make it as a human being.
Yeah,
you know, especially being in London, like, everything's so bloody expensive now.
Totally. No, I honestly, I really respect that as a subject. I wasn't expecting you to say that, and I think that's really, I don't know what I was expecting actually, but it was really refreshing.
Okay,
it was refreshing to hear you say that, because I think it is something that for people coming into it, wherever they're going to work, to have some bit more honest reality of how it works. Like you're saying now, you know, your career is growing really well, but you still feel like you're still growing, you're still in those early stages, right? You've sort of mentioned yourself, and you're still backing that up. You're having to back that up with other income as well. Yeah,
which I probably would continue to do, because it's smart. Whether that's having a part-time job, or like, I also do like white label DJ gigs. Like, I'm playing a wedding in a few weeks, and like, you know, music composition stuff.
Love that.
I'm freelance, so like, there's lots of ways.
And so that's something you'd 100% advise to people, like,
have other funnels of income, because it allows you freedom with your decisions in your artist career.
Respect that. That's wicked advice. Really, really good advice. So what's coming next? Like, what's on the horizon? What can you share? Like, what's musically? Some new things coming?
So, I mean, I just released a song.
Yeah.
Called Do You Feel It? Came out on Weapons last week. Well, I don't know when this will be airing, but probably a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, very, very cool. And that's definitely got a bit of a tougher feel to it, hasn't it? That's pushing in a slightly harder sort of territory.
Why not? It's winter.
Or spring, as we were talking about earlier.
Today feels very warm.
It's mad today, isn't it? No, it's really cool. Like, the influence of that, was you just feeling that? More tougher, darker?
It was last year when I was having all of these career pitfalls, and I was just pissed off. Can I swear?
Yeah, go for it.
I was just pissed off at everyone. I was like, and I said to myself, like, why don't I just make an angry track? So I did.
I love that. We make an angry track.
Yeah, I don't think it sounds too angry now.
No, definitely, but you can hear the energy, the pace in it.
But yeah, then I've got a set of tracks coming out in May. Like I said, Club Hunni is, we've got a string of shows in May as well, workshop in April, and playing Field Day too, which is very exciting, and Fold too in May. Everything's happening in May.
Okay, busy May and beyond. I love it. It's flown by. Like, looking at the time now, we've just got a few minutes left. Like, I think we've covered some really good ground. But for those of you that, you know, aren't already following Kiimi, what would you say the main sort of social media platforms are the best thing for people to follow you on? Instagram,
TikTok. Yeah, my handle is generally Kiimi World, so KIIMIWORLD. On all of them, so TikTok, Instagram, and SoundCloud.
Love it.
Yeah,
love it. So jump on there, follow SoundCloud as well. Do you sometimes put mixes up there, live performances and stuff?
Yeah,
wicked, excellent. So check that out, guys. Thank you so much
Thanks for having me.
It's been wicked. It's been really nice just to sit and chat. Really, really enjoyed that. I hope you guys have found that helpful. I think there's some amazing takeaways there that you can use in your own development of your own careers and where you're all going in the world. So thank you so much for joining us again, and we'll see you on the next one, guys. It's a nice one. Cheers. Bye-bye. That was wicked.
Nice one.